going to be taking a step back from the normal lewd today and talk about a series that I love not just purely because of the story, but because of the main character. And I'm sure once I'm done talking about her, you will fall in love with her too. The character that I'm talking about is the main character from the series Neko wa Surayo, which in English translation means being neko is a pain. And the character I'm talking about in question is Neko, of course! The story of the manga revolves around our main character Neko, who just graduated university and has been applying for jobs left, right, and center, but has been rejected from every single one of them. Being rejected so much, she becomes dejected and decides to become a neet. A neet, if you do not know, is somebody who is not in education, employment, or training. Such a simple story, right? One we've never heard before of such a simple and cute girl. Now look at her! Look at the fucking face! She's a cute girl with a slight bit of airhead and ditziness that just makes your heart whirl! She's so funny and bubbly, with just a gentle bit of sass to really just get you going on that waifu train. That's why everybody after reading this manga sees her and loves her. She is such a bright fixture in everybody's world that you wouldn't be surprised to see her picture as somebody's Twitter profile. Truly, anime waifu worthy of being the truest, most purest waifu on the internet. Hell, she's so well liked, someone even made a VTuber of her. Being such a bright slice of life neat girl, how could she not be happy? Right? Because she's not. Although the description I gave of this manga makes it seem like your sort of typical slice of life manga about a cute ditzy girl who's living with her family and is a neet and is just trying to stumble her way through life, and I'm not saying that this isn't sort of essentially the case for this manga. But you would be completely wrong if you took one look at the series and you thought this is just another moe slice of life cute ditzy girl manga and has nothing deep underlying in it. But before we keep on with the video, I would first like to give thanks to today's sponsor, Booksu. Booksu is a monthly Japanese snack subscription box that is filled with unique snacks from all across Japan. And this box probably looks a little unique to you, huh? Not like the normal Booksu box, huh? Now this is the normal Booksu box you would get. But for an additional $50, you can get this wonderful handcrafted, lovingly made kiribako box by Masuda Kiribako in Koga City. And the cool bit is made by Booksu, which is just, it just feels so good. This is so fancy. Now the kiribako box opens from the side, and you have Hokkaido holidays. Hokkaido is a prefecture known for its agriculture as well as its milk, so there's a variety of different tastes as well. And oh my god, sweet potato cookie, yes! And honestly, it's just very well made. It's a really great box, I love it. If you are interested in getting a Booksu box, as well as this just wonderful, god, I love it, I love touching it, as well as this wonderful kiribako box, then please check out all of the links in the description. It is only available until December 30th, so please hurry your little tushes up. Don't you want this lovingly beautiful crafted box? Thank you guys again, and thank you to Booksu. Now back to the video. Normally, I am quite against reading neat manga for that same reason, because I feel like any time that there is a manga involving a neat girl, it's just another waifu that's trying to be, that's like, oh, I'm so scared, I have social anxiety. Don't we all, bitch? And it doesn't really dive into the legitimacy and the realism of being a neet, because in reality, it's not a fun and comedic experience at all. Depression, fear of failure, self-hatred, these are all emotions that neets go through every day, and this manga series does and depicts so fucking well. I won't lie, the reason why I even picked up this manga was because I saw Neko on the front cover and thought, damn, she's cute. And you can imagine how pleasantly surprised I was as I kept reading on in the series. Because most manga make it a gag, which is funny, you know, it can be funny. It never dwells into the realism that is being a neet. Definitely not like in this manga. And you may stop this video here, go and read it, and be pretty misled because it starts off pretty comedic and funny and sort of lighthearted, but definitely as you go on, you start to see a bit more of Neko's character. In the beginning, you just kind of get to know our social anxiety-riddled heroine and her family that she lives with. And in the beginning, it is so easy to just kind of look at her and think, ha! What a fucking dumbass! She's so cringe! And it's not even a one continuous story, okay? It's chapter by chapter basis where a new scenario happens and you get to see how each character kind of reacts, you get it. But after the comedic situation takes a halt, you take a glance behind the doors and see how Neko really feels. Like, it'll go from a lighthearted, funny chapter, like, for example, where Neko is trying to play MapleStory and gets sucked into a job on MapleStory, becoming a healer. And she has certain times she has to wake up, she gets paid with currency in the game, and it becomes like a full-time job where she feels a lot of, like, passion and sort of, fulfilledness of doing a real-life job, except it's literally just being a healer on MapleStory, okay? And then she also starts to feel the exhaustion, which kind of leads her to quitting being on MapleStory. Which is obviously funny because, people go on MMORPGs because they want to fucking relax, not because they want to get a job. But then you see chapters where Neko is in utter distress, looking at herself and seeing herself as a complete failure because although she was popular in university, although she had a normal life, after being rejected from so many companies, she realizes she's never accomplished anything she ever wanted to and feels like she never will because she feels so useless. One of the most heart-wrenching chapters is where Neko has to clean her room and clean it out, and she finds all of her stuff from her childhood that she treasured, with all of the friends that she had, and she kept things of like, oh, what if I could be, like, I have all these dreams, all these things I want to do, and she kind of looks at it happily, but then she sits there and realizes, and there doesn't even need to be any text on the screen because you see a picture of her just wearing and holding all the stuff, and it says it all. She's so in pain. And, she has nothing now. She is literally just staying at home and feels like there's nothing sometimes even worth living for. Seeing such a happy and ditzy girl going from being excited to extremely forlorn is such a contrast that I hardly see done well in manga because it usually feels very forced, like suddenly happy, sad. It's never kind of flows well, but it always flows so exceptionally well in this series. It feels realistic. Like, depression is like that. Suddenly you'll feel happy and pleased and, kind of potentially like your normal self, and then suddenly you don't. Now, being able to read her thoughts and see things from her point of view, of course, makes the comedy and comedic scenes even more funny, but it also makes the more depressing scenes even more realistic. You start to root for her, and you certainly start to see how she became the person that she is now, and how she got here, and potentially how she can change. So when she messes up, or when she suddenly sometimes wants to go and try and do another interview and then quits, you feel that sense of just pure disappointment, not because it's just like a series, it's like that's not prolonging, but because you really want her to feel better in some way, to just be better. Now, I often reread this series because I love Neko as a character and how she depicts depression and maybe self-hatred, as well as fighting a feeling of not being useless and just the constant battle in your head of that. Although that's not every chapter, and although, honestly, this manga is mostly comedic, when it's not, it is so beautifully done that I really have a hard time thinking of any other neet series that could ever compare to the reality of being a neet, besides maybe obviously the more serious ones. Because being a neet is a super common phenomenon in Japan, and it's not funny or cute, it's fucking sad. And this manga doesn't shy away from that. It shows how dark the Japanese workplace really is, how it can affect people mentally, and why some people don't, want to keep trying, especially when they keep getting rejected. Obviously that fucking hurts a lot. And it shows how depression isn't easily conquered. And that's one thing I love it about this series. It's a series that I crack open to sometimes have a good laugh and also just a really good think and have some good feels. Truly, Neko is one of my most favorite characters written-wise, just for that alone. I'm not gonna lie, there's not many comedy mangas that I read that have a really good tinge of depression in there. It's a little concoction that I could truly just dip into my veins a little bit, and I love to death. If you too, you really fucking need to read this series, my guy. You need to. But yeah, if you're also looking for something that's constantly depressing or is a psychological phenomenon constantly, this is definitely not it either. Yeah, I will repeat this again. It is mostly comedic with some, you know, like back, behind, depressing notes. And then there's sometimes, you know, not that. So if you like that little mix and you want to read up, have a laugh, or maybe have a good little cry, series for you, baby. I just really want to talk about this series. I really love it. I will shut the fuck up now. And I will see you guys soon. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you to all of my patrons who are all listed right here. I want to give a little... And thank you again to Boksu for sponsoring this channel. I'll see you guys in the next one. And until then, bye, lady babies. Bye.